To cope with and alleviate the negative impact of cyberspace activity, organizations must increase risk management to include cyber resilience. Managing Director Asset Security for Nigeria and Ghana, Olufemi Ake, joins us to discuss how to manage activities in the cyberspace.
So tell me, how safe or unsafe are we on the cyberspace?
We are not safe. We are getting there, but we still have a long way to go. No IT security company would guarantee you 100% security, first of all. But the question to ask is, the users, how are they securing themselves? How are they securing the devices they use? And how they manage their way through the internet? That's the question. So we are not there yet.
But let's bring it home to Nigeria.
Okay.
How peculiar is our case?
Nigeria is quite peculiar because in terms of knowledge, in terms of knowing the importance of IT security, I would not pass Nigeria for 40% because we don't seem to have that information about how we can keep ourselves secured. Only few organizations are really, really much ahead when it comes to IT security. But for individuals, you go online to download applications, you go on the website to use the internet. You're not even worried about what you click. You're not worried about how you display your data on the internet. That is very, very key. In terms of security, physical security is very, very important, and mental security, how you manage your way around the internet and how you manage the use of these applications is very, very key.
Are you comfortable with our national cybersecurity framework?
Well, I am not. I'm not comfortable because the cybersecurity framework addresses organizations and addresses the post effect of cyber security attacks and things like that, but it does not detail the existing issues, the existing environment when it comes to IT security. It needs to put it much into perspective so that we can really know how to address the issues that we have on ground and how we would ensure security of devices, security of customer data, when it comes to interaction with companies are well secured.
You just mentioned customer data, and so sometimes I wonder, do we have a framework with the management of the BVN, the National ID card project, and all these other data we're all gathering? Is there a framework to manage all this data?
In the society that I am used to, because I spent a bit of time in the UK before moving back to Nigeria, before relocating to Nigeria, there's something we call Data Protection Act of 1984 or something like that. I can't remember the year now. The Data Protection Act basically ensures that customer data, or any organization handling customer data or dealing with customers or collecting any form of data, be it the staff data, be it customer data, be it stakeholder, vendor data, is secured. The organization in the first place needs to be secured. The services or the tools they use to have these security measures put in place has to be well, adhered to and in line with the government policy. So if Nigeria as a country is not thinking in that line, then we need to start doing that, because we have a lot of companies collecting data. We have a lot of organizations, a lot of telcos, a lot of FMCG collecting promotional data, collecting BVN, banks also collecting huge data. If we experience any data leak, any hack, for example, especially at banks or telco organizations, we might be going into serious disruption. You can imagine that. That's huge.
So is it that we don't have any sort of data protection policy, and is there any bill that is being considered at this moment? Do you have an idea?
We have them in bits. We have various policies, especially with the banking sector, where banks are advised to put in place two-factor authentication to ensure that their internal users don't have their accounts breached.
Cybersecurity requires a balanced approach that protects both organizations and individuals while also enabling open, safe commerce and communications. But the question is, how can individuals protect themselves against being victims of cyber threat, especially when their data is managed by government or organizations?
So if I have my data leaked on the internet through maybe one of the top banks, do I know if it is important for me to take them to court because they did it? Do we have a framework to guide me in doing that? Do we have a very, very strong judicial system to also fight for me? Because you can understand that these huge organizations are very, very powerful, and most of them get to do things and do away with it. So we need to strengthen our judicial system. We need to strengthen these policies, and we need to strengthen the enforcement of these policies. It is very, very important.
The National Security Advisor recently set up a committee to look at the challenges that Nigeria might be facing in terms of cybersecurity. What would be your advice to that committee?
Well, my advice is to focus on educating the public, sensitizing the entire public on the need for security of their devices, of their use on the internet, and how they interact with their data, also on the internet, with different organizations and people in general.
The instances of phishing email is on the rise, and it's one way that hackers can use to get into organizations. What would be your advice to stop that?
Okay, my advice for phishing emails, really, it is difficult to stop, right? But for the users, for the receiver of the email, it is also easier to control, right? There are solutions, there are IT security solutions that can help. For example, ESET as an organization provides a security solution called mail security that allows to secure your mail exchange and filters through all spam emails and things like that. So, organizations can think in that line to also put that in place to filter through, emails coming into their systems. Even users as well. We also have for individual users, which obviously focuses on, junking any spam emails that come into the inbox.
But you just said it's not 100% safe.
It is not 100% safe because you would still see some protocols being jumped or being gone over.
Yeah, but why is that? Why should I invest in a solution that doesn't give me 100% guarantee?
Well, to be honest with you, it is 99.99% safe. Yeah, the only reason why it's not 100% safe is because you have your IT administrators, setting up policies. The organization could set up policies to say, okay, I want this size of email not to come into my network. I want this size of data not to come into my network. I want this sort of, keywords to be filtered through my network. So that is where the lapses come in. So if you're smart enough as a hacker or as a fisher, to know these policies, it can be jumped. That is why I say it is what you set, it is what you put in that the solutions definitely will do for you.
So did you personally recommend that hackers, who are caught, for example, are converted to good users?
I do, because if you're smart enough to cause a wreckage, I will use Ashley Madison as an example. I always use that, a NITEC event that was held. I spoke about Ashley Madison, and if you consider the damage that incident has caused to the entire organization, to families, to jobs, and a lot of people have committed suicide, trying to get their heads around the leakage. Then if the hacker is able to do this, the hacker should also be able to work for my organization to ensure that it proactively secures the users from that kind of threat. So I would honestly advise that hackers should be employed and also be encouraged to do good things rather than exploit people for their own personal or financial gains.
Thank you for being on Tech Trends today.
Thank you very much,
I
Fred.
wish you all the
Thank you.
best.
I appreciate it.